well, and I also guess so that the previous content regarding the day 8 part 1 and part 2 is pretty clear to you guys, and in this particular video we are going to discuss about the day 3 content that is going to be particularly for the hands-on session. As I have already promised you that I'll be coming back to you with the day 3 hands-on session, in which we particularly I'll going to discuss about the number 1 is public exploits. What are public exploits and how to perform public exploitation? Number 2 is going to be the content regarding the privilege escalation, like how to perform the privilege escalation using the in particularly in the Windows or in the Linux, guys. How we are going to perform it in both of the operating systems, as well as a particularly manual privilege escalation and automated privilege escalation. And for this particular thing, automated privilege escalation, I'm going to tell you which tools you can use and how you can perform manually as well for the Windows and for the Linux both. So here we move on further, and let's just discuss about the public exploit first. What are public exploit and how to perform public exploit, and why do we need public exploits? Let's say a public exploit, as its name itself suggests, guys, that public exploit is something that is as the word exploit suggests, to exploit, to boom out something vulnerable, to boom out the vulnerability or a loophole, just give me a second, loophole into the system. That could be regarding any kind of services, software, or the versions. Let's say if and public means that is publicly available and known to the public as well. So combining in public exploit means a publicly available loophole which can be exploited or which can be hindered in order to get the access or privilege escalation, right? I hope this is clear. And now moving on further, I'll be telling you what public exploit can help us and how we can do it. Public exploitation is basically an outdated version of any kind of services, software, or you can say the system. Let's just take an example. There might be services you have heard about: Apache, Tomcat. You might have heard about all these versions of services that basically some kind of you can say website or web servers are using these. And Tomcat is basically having so many versions, let's say 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We are just taking example. I might be 9 is not the latest version, 9 might be the oldest version, but I'm just taking an example. Let's say 9 over here is the latest version, and we have seen a website or a web service using 8 as its current version or released version right now. Let's say current an older version. Okay, I'll just explain it to you with the help of example as well. We are going to learn theoretical and practical in the same session itself, guys. So do not panic that why I'm just telling you about this, because it is also mandatory to know that what theoretical things can. If we don't know about the theoretical in this particular session, we cannot explain how to perform those things. So let's just take an example, and let's say this is a website or a web server, website, or you can say the web server. And let's say this is using Apache or Tomcat. It is using what? Apache, or you can say Tomcat. It is using Tomcat version 8. But the latest version is what, guys? 9. And this version 8 have its public exploitation under itself earlier, and that is basically RCE. Guys, अगर let's say if it is having an RCE under itself, Tomcat version is an exploitation for RCE. What is RCE, guys? RCE is known as remote code execution. That means remote code execution. That means we can perform remote code execution on this particular version. Any one of us can perform, whosoever is testing, or you can say the person who is testing over that particular website or web server came through this the website is particularly using a Tomcat version 8 that can lead to RC, because earlier it have this vulnerability inside of it, and there is a public exploit that is known to be the CVE, common vulnerability exploitation, for that particular version. So we can then perform the remote code execution in order to get the access into that website as an admin or the privileged access, you can say. Privileged access means, like, you can say that rather it could be of the admin, or could be the of the manager, or could be of the user. We can get the access and then we can escalate it to the admin if we got the user's access, and we can escalate it to the admin or to the manager. And that's how remote code execution performs. And from here, sitting from here, we can just control all of that system, particularly working on that particular website. So that's how website or a web server basically works. So I hope it is clear, guys, how to what is public exploit and how we can use a public exploit in order to perform the privilege escalation. That's how privilege escalation and public exploit are connected to each other. Now moving on further, we can how we can locate the public exploits, how to locate public exploit for okay, let me just write down here how to locate the public exploit. So this is very simple, but it takes a lot of patience because you are going to perform it manually. So firstly, what we are going to do is, firstly we are going to do the nmap SV command. Why SV command? To detect the version. As I already mentioned, we are going to detect the version of the services or software or system that that particular website or web server or the target host is using. Okay, then after performing the you can say after performing the network mapping, after network mapping and mapping, what we are going to basically do is we are going to just go on to our system and search for it, for it using the search exploit. Search exploit is basically, as its name suggests, search. And so it is comprising of two words, search and exploit, which combinedly create search exploit. Search exploit. And as search exploit means to exploit, to search the exploit, public exploit available. What we'll do, we'll check for the version. Firstly we'll check for the nmap is using the nmap sv. We are going to check for the version. We are going to do what? We are going to detect the version, detect the version. Yeah, we are going to detect the version, and after detecting the version, we are going to see whether it is the older version or the newer version. If it is the older version, we are going to just write down the command search exploit, and then after detecting the version, we are just going to copy paste that version and write it in front of the search exploit. Let's just take an example of you can say and one more thing, what we have to add in over here is just say search exploit m is basically to find out the version of that particular, rather it could be for the Windows, rather it could be for the Linux. And that's how we are going to perform you. And here you are going to do what is, we are going to write the exploit name that you came across, or you can say the version name, right? Version name. And then after doing this, it's you can just do the grep. And why grep, guys? Just give me a second. Grep exploit name. Here we are going to, why grep? Grep is basically used in order to perform the filtering filtering from all these versions that we came across. I guess this is clear. And yes, guys, one more thing. As I am searching for a good privilege escalation room or challenge, that I'll be creating one more new video sooner or later for this particular session of privilege escalation, so that I can show you the hands-on as well. Rather, I'm going to show you the hands-on for it also, but for the particular privilege escalation and the way to exploit things, I'm going to particularly come up with a either it could be for the try hack me challenge, or it could also be for the HTB challenge, whichever I'll be finding suitable for you guys to understand privilege escalation and public exploitation. To do a hands-on, I'll get back to you with a new video as soon as possible. So for now, just cop up with the commands and try to understand what I am trying to say. But as you can use these commands in this process in order to locate the public exploit and to understand how you can perform the privilege escalation. And one more thing, coming over to this particular topic back again, there is another way of doing this particular thing, and this, which is, like, you can say to locate the public exploit, there is one more thing that is you can do is www dot exploit db.com. This particular, you can go and search for this particular website on the web browser. Let's just go and hop on so that I can show you. Let's just copy paste it over here and just enter. It is a best exploitdb.com website where you can see all kind of exploit databases, guys. Like you can see here it is showing web apps cybersploit is the author who have exploited this vulnerability is particularly the author's name, and that's how you can perform is you can say exploit, search exploit db. Links are also given over here. Sites is also given for the Kali Linux, for the you can say offsec, for Vulnhub, and that's how you can search for the, you can come up over here and you can just search over here. You can just write it down over here and just find it out. Let's say if you want to find out any of the RC or command injection, look here it is given command injection. You just click on it and you can see it will show you many of the command injection, how to perform command injection for authenticated version. If there is an authenticated version into any kind of site or something, you can just directly hop on here and see how to perform that command injection on that particular site. You can use this payload and the POCs given as well, and that's how you can just run your command injection any particularly authenticated website with the RE engine. R engine 2.2.0. If means if there is a website or web server using this particular version or this particular service with this version, you can perform command injection for that on authenticated system as well. So that's how you get to know ki ye version they are using, and we can exploit this version using this POC as well as this payload. And that's how you can perform the public exploit and locate the public exploit as well. So I hope this is pretty clear to you guys, that how to locate the public exploit. Moving on further, we come to the point of privilege escalation. What it is, we come to what? Privilege escalation. Yes, guys. Now we are going to learn about the privilege escalation hands-on. Privilege escalation. Firstly, there are two kinds of privilege. We can perform on two operating systems. Rather, it could be Windows. Yeah, there could be other chances as far as other operating system exploits or privilege escalation chances as well, but we are basically going to discuss, and this is only Linux and Windows. So for the Windows, what we are going to basically do is, okay, starting from here, I'll be showing you Windows privilege escalation manually. Firstly, we are going to discuss about the manually, guys. And for the manually, what you can do is just hop onto your Windows PowerShell, and just you have to type in system info, and it will give you the information regarding your system, whatever system you are using, what's the basic information regarding your system and everything. This is just the basic command to use system info, and then just enter. It will start to load on. Just give me a second and just enter. Yeah, look, it is showing that it will be loading us the processor information, so operating system profile information, hotfix information, and till the time it gets loaded, I'll just show you one more thing on and what you can do after using the system info. After performing the system info, what you can perform is you can just write on who am I, and who am I is going to show the particular systems information. Like let's just say you got an shell, because okay, just give me a second. Firstly in manually, remember one thing, most of the people are basically using what, using Windows as their main operating system, and not the Linux. Okay, yeah, not the Linux as their main OS. So there are chances that whenever you are going to get the shell, whenever you are going to get the shell, that would be for you can say Windows PowerShell, Windows PowerShell, and not the Linux one. There are most of the time there are chances that we are going to be having a Windows PowerShell instead of the Linux shell. So you have to be very handy with Windows as well as Linux. So just understand, after getting to know about the information regarding the manual, you can say, sorry, the information about that particular operating system and the particular system you are into, what you have to do is you have to check who is the person using, or who is the user over there using that particular system. So here you get to know that it is my system's name, as I have just written who am I, so I get to know about that it is using Amar Isha Malik. And then what you are going to use after you checking for the who am I, let's just see if it is, yeah, it is still loading, guys. There might be some issue with it, so just leave that particular thing. But you can get to know using that particular system info command itself. So after that you can check who am I groups. If the person is the main administrator or admin of that particular system, what can it lead to? It can lead to, basically you can see there would be chances that it have created groups under, if the person is the main, if it is a company and the person is using who am I, so there might be it, they have divided it into the groups under the users as well. So we're just going to check what groups they are, that particular system is having under that particular user. So just okay, there is some issue, just give me a second. Who am I guess I use the command as wrong. Groups, and just, yeah, look, I just forgot to put the space in between, and you can see there are lots of group names and information regarding the groups: NT authority, interactive, sorry, console login. And then you can see this organization, then you can see the Microsoft accounts, how many accounts you might be able to see all the accounts as well, that how which accounts are into this particular system. Now let me clear and make it more precise to you guys. Moving on further, after using the who am I groups, you get to know, and you get the you get the email ID, so you can also work upon that particular email ID. And after that, what you can basically just do is just check the IP config. IP config is basically to check the IP address of that particular system, and you can also use the IP config all in order to check the all the IP addresses it is connected to, or you can say the network it is using, particularly in order to get to know about the information regarding, look, it is giving the Windows IP configuration, host name, and then what kind of services it is using, physical address, and also the unknown adapter, wireless LAN adapter, wireless again the wireless LAN adapter for the Wi-Fi, that is cuchd.in. You can see a lot of information is getting leaked, so you can get to know how. And it is also showing that Bluetooth device, but it is a personal area network, so you cannot get a hold of it. So that's how you get to know about the information, and that's how you can perform the enumeration for the privilege escalation. This is basically the manual enumeration that we can perform in order to get the information regarding that particular system. So that's how you can do. And after that, you can also check for the get, and just give me a second, get, okay, get process. Get process will let you know what processes are particularly working on the system right now, and that's how it can that's how you can see, look, there are so many Chrome tabs open, over Firefox is also open. That's how you can get to know that this particular system is currently running all these things on their own, on their system right now. I am working a lot of particular things, so that's why my Chromes and everything is so much open. So that's how you can get to know, and you can learn in order to get to know about it. So you get a hold of a shell, it's not like you will get a GUI, guys. You will always get a PowerShell, or you can always say you are going to get a shell over there. So that's how you work, and that's how things go for the privilege escalation. For manual pen testing of the privilege escalation, you can do and run all these commands. So I hope this is pretty clear. And now moving on further, just give me a second. Moving on further, I'll be showing you one more thing, and how to perform the automated privilege escalation for manual. It's still loading, there might be some information, there is so much information stored in my system, that's why it might be possible that it's lagging a lot. So we'll just leave it over here, and we just clear the system. And moving on further, I'll be showing you how to perform the automated privilege escalation. For that, we are going to need the WinPeas, guys. What do we need? WinPeas. And now I'll be showing you how you can just use WinPeas. Just go onto your Google browser, or you can say any search engine, and just search for the WinPeas GitHub, and you will be able to see the WinPeas GitHub download repositories. Here you can see there are several of the WinPeas GitHubs, but we are going to particularly use the second one, that is a PEASSNG. And just clicking on this, what you can do is, you can see there is a readme file for this particular thing. You can just see, and there are the obfuscated and latest and not obfuscated versions. You can just click on this particular thing, and after going on there, you can see the versions, and you can use any of the WinPs. As I have already installed in my system this WinPs x64.exe. You can install it according to your system's compatibility. Just click on it and it will get downloaded into your downloads, or you can say wherever you wish to store it, you can store it in the same particular way. After doing that, what you can basically do is just get back to your system. Let's in my system, it is ls, yeah, it is showing me the it is in my particular system, it is in my bug bounty folder that I have created for particularly doing my things as I was managing. So here you can just see there are firstly you'll do ls and you'll be able to see all those, you can say, all this information regarding the directories or listing of the directories. Then moving on further, my it is in my OneDrive. My desktop is basically stored in my OneDrive. So what I'll do is cd OneDrive. Yeah, and then enter. After entering, then I'll again do the ls to see what things I have stored. Then I'll just get back in cd desktop, and then again enter, then ls again. I'll see the we can see the bug bounty over here. Any, yeah, it is showing me the bug bounty over here. Then what we are going to basically do is we are just going to do the cd bug bounty, and then it's going to open it for me, and then again I'm going to do the ls, and here you can see I have got a WinPs x64.exe stored in here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to run WinPs and just enter. Look, it is going to run, and it is that's how you perform the privilege escalation for the Windows using the automated tool that is known as WinPs x64. So getting back here till the time it's get loaded, as I have already told you that might be there will be an issue for this particular Windows automated version, but I'll be showing the same for you can say same for it, same in the Linux as well. Now moving on, I'll just write down the commands for the Windows so that you can take a screenshot how to perform it manually. Just firstly system info in order to get the system information about the system. Then moving on further, we have the command that is basically, you can say, yeah, who am I, and another command is who am I groups, space, guys, do not forget the space like me, as I forgotten in earlier. So after who am I groups, you can just move on further using the command that is ipconfig to get to know about the IP address of that particular system that you are into. Then ipconfig all. Yeah, there might be a question in your brain like, how did we get the shell earlier? Exactly. I know that that might be a question in your brain, that how do we actually get this shell? Okay. Just give me a second. Let me write it. Let me write it here. Mm-mm. Okay. Let me write here in itself first. How do we get the shell? You guys might be thinking, how do we get the shell? Firstly, guys, we located the public exploits, and from there, when we get to know that this is basically a public exploit, and here we can perform the exploitation. After when you perform the exploitation, you basically get to have a hold for the shell itself. That's how you get the shell, guys. Firstly, what you did is, firstly you perform the nmap, right? As I told you, and when you searched about that particular, you get this, you get the version name and you get the search exploit. After performing the search exploit, you get to know about that particular exploit, that there is an exploit. Then you go to the exploit.db and search for that particular exploit. After searching for that exploit, you get the payload and as well as the POC. I told you na that you get the payload as well as the POC, and after getting the POC, you can just use the same POC in order to perform that exploit. And there are chances that when you are performing the exploit, you automatically get to have a hold of a shell, and that's how you get the shell of that particular system, or you can say a system or a network that you are into or you're trying to exploit. After doing the ipconfig all, you can use what command is, I have already shown you the command for the manual, and after using the ipconfig command, you can see get process. Okay, get process. And you can also specify the get processes using several commands. You can just get to know about it. This is the particular way of getting a Windows privilege escalation using manual things. Now moving on further, we have is Windows Windows automated privilege escalation. Automated privilege escalation. Just give me a second. Yeah, to get a hold of a Windows automated privilege escalation, what you have to basically do is you have to run a, oh sorry guys, yeah, you have to install a WinPeace x64, or according to your system's compatibility, you can download WinPeace.exe in your system in order to run that particular thing. So that's how you perform the automated privilege escalation and manual Windows privilege escalation. I guess this is automated Windows privilege escalation is pretty clear to you guys, and you have understood how to perform and what to perform in order to get the hold of a Windows privilege escalation or escalated privileges for particular Windows system or anything like that, and how to exploit the public, how to get the hold of public exploits as well. So I guess this is clear to you guys and you have understood how to perform it. Let's just see if our Windows privilege is working or not in the background. Look guys, it is again getting me on the loading hotfix information. It is loading some kind of information regarding the hotfix. I don't know what it is basically, because I haven't read about it, about the whole hotfix information. But yeah, as if your system doesn't have so much of things like mine, so it would just give you direct information and load everything into your system in just one go, as it is really quick and you can just get a hold of all the PE checklist over here. And in here you can see, I'll just show you what things it is going to give back to us. Here you can see it will load sensitive sensitive files to us. It is also going to load regex YML definition files, and it will also check for the domains that my system is basically using or what particular system is using. And it will also get the information about the user account, what user account it is having, and current user group list as well, and active user list, disabled user list. It will also show if there is any kind of admin user list. There might be some chances na guys. Okay, let's just take an example. I'll show you how does things happen. Let's say there is one kind of example. Let's just say this is a particular network where there is a where there is one admin system, another is a user system, a normal user system, that is regular user system. So if by chance you get to get the hold of the, you can say, admin user system, then you can escalate it to admin user list if you get to know that this particular system is also having admin user account. So that's how you get the hold of the admin system. And using privilege escalation, you can escalate the privileges and the, you can say, roles using this particular privilege escalation. That's how it perform, that's how you can perform it. Yeah, it is still loading, but it's okay. For this time I'm just exiting this. Control X, it is not exiting even. Just give me a second. Yeah. It's not clear. Yeah, it got exited. So this is how you can perform the Windows privilege escalation, that is using the automated version, that is WinPeace, as I already told you. So just let's just get out of it and move on. Moving on further, we'll be discussing about the Linux privilege escalation. Basically, Linux privilege escalation is what? Linux is somehow similar, but the commands are basically a bit different, and the automated privilege escalation for it is same, just the tool name is different, but it is also part of peace.exe, or you can say peace.sh. So here on we have is Linux Privesc. Linux Privesc, I'll be showing you how to perform the Linux Privesc. For the Linux Privesc, what you can basically do is, yeah, just give me a second. Yeah, Linux Privesc, for performing it manually, what you can use is the commands you can use is basically it comprises of only two things. That is, either you can say the public exploit, using the public exploit that I have already told you how to locate the public exploit and then how to use it using the public exploit, or another you can do is using the website hacking. And how you can perform the website hacking is basically using implementing command injections. Just give me a second. Yeah, command injections, or you can say the SSTIs. That is, SSTIs are basically the server side template injections, injections. So this is basically for the manual, but for the, and yeah, for the for you, if you need to use somehow the public exploit. In order to use the public exploit in here, what you can basically do is you just need two things, that is rport. Rport is the port of the target system. Target, just give me a second. Yeah, target system. And for the rhost, you need the rhost. Next thing that you need is rhost, that is the ip address of the just give me a second, yeah, of the target, again the target system. You need only these two things to perform the public after using to use the public exploit, because if you are able to set these things, you can just exploit the vulnerability and you can just get into the system in order to get the in order just give me a second, yeah, in order to get the shell. I hope it is clear and you guys understood how to perform the public exploit for this. I might have shown you, but this is a bit different because I don't know the work. I don't have any kind of challenge right now because we have to do it in a particular systematic way, and you cannot do it in that particular way. So that's how you perform it. Then moving on further, you can use here is linpiece, guys. For this particular system I have already installed linpiece, but I'll show you that how you can uh, download and install the linpiece into your system. So here, moving on further, we will just let me clear it once and I'll show you. Just go to your Firefox. For the automated it is, let me just write down here till the time where it is. Yeah, okay, just yeah, okay, just give me a second, just give me a second. Yeah, for the Linux privilege escalation, in order to perform the automated Linux privilege escalation, what you can basically use is automated. You can use is linpiece. Just give me a second. Linpiece.sh. You can use this particular tool for the automation privilege escalation, and you can get to know what particular users are available there or what things can have a proper privilege escalation, on what commands you can use it. So I'll just show you here. Let's yeah, it got open and we'll just head on and I'll just search it. Here is linpiece.sh. Okay, just give me a second, let me see if, yeah, here it is, the GitHub. Again, we'll just finding the GitHub repository for the linpiece, or you can say the winpiece. You can also install, I already have linpiece over here, so I'll just cancel it, but you can just go to this particular site and just give me a second, releases, yeah, you can just enter here the https github.com peasng and then releases of the peasng. As I have already shown you the GitHub repository, you can just come here. You can see there are linpiece, so many linpiece, you can say, releases. You can download according to the system's compatibility again, and that's how you basically perform it. And after this, what you can do is just come back and check your downloads. Just go to your ls and then go to downloads. Oh, just give me a second. Yeah, cd downloads. No, it's just about downloads, right? Downloads, yeah, and enter, and you can see after doing ls you'll be able to see a linpiece.sh. For first of the cases when you have not set it up, you have to also run the chmod plus x and then linpiece.sh, because the permission would be denied if you won't use this command, and to get the permission you have to use this particular command, and then after entering it you can just directly run the linpiece.sh, and after running you can see it have already gathered us the information about the basic information, that is which operating system it is using and what is the users, you can say root user or the Kali normal user, and then after that you can also see a lot of information it will load to you, sorry, a lot of information it is going to load for you. It is also showing the host name, it is Kali, and it is caching some directories, and it will show us what directories are present into that particular system, and after that you can get a hold of that and you can exploit it using these all the directories. As soon as you get to know about the directories, you can just use those directories in order to get into the system, right? Look, it is loaded. I'll just show you how you can perform. After getting the basic information, it loaded as the system information, that is Linux version, distributor ID, description, release, and everything regarding that particular system. And after that, you can see path, which path it is using. Look, it is showing it is having a home and the Kali path. Then you can see the date and the uptime of that particular system, then the unmounted devices swap file, or you can say any SDK size, and that's how it is going to perform. You can see user is Kali language. I haven't set it, so it is not showing any kind of language to me particularly. And here moving on further, you have got the everything. You can see pwd directory, in which particular directory you are right now, home, Kali, downloads, and everything like that. You can get to know about the CVs. We can perform on this, or it is control, it is having an inside right now. You can perform the exploit. Look, this is how you can get to know the URL. You can get the download of the URL, and you can perform that particular exploit on this system, right? Protection it is having, what kind of protection it is using, what is there any cloud instances over this particular system, no or yes. That's how you can get to know processors, crons, timers, services, and sockets. Every information you can get to see. And the same goes for the WinPs, guys. WinPs also give us the same information, but there might be some issue with my WinPs, so that's why it was not showing me the correct information. But you can troubleshoot it, and you can get to know if you are facing some kind of an issue here. And that's how you get to know about the particular information, a particular set of information regarding. You can say, look, here is a software information, and it is also showing what kind of users and groups it is particularly having. And that's how things goes and run. The directories have its, you can say, uh, LDAP, lightweight directory access protocols it is using, analyzing the mosquito files, IPsec files, everything you can see from here. And that's how things go in hand for the privilege escalation tools for the automated things. I guess it is clear, and now I'll just end it. I was not going to show you more, because you get to hold how you can perform the automated Linux privilege escalation. After getting the hold of backups, you can just get into the backups or something like that, and you can just get the shell. So that's how things work for this particular privilege escalation. I guess it is clear, and you guys have get a hold that how to perform things. Now moving on further, I have one very specific thing to show you guys, and that is how to perform leveraging service. So how to use those services after getting into the system. How to leverage the, you can say, just give me a second, leverage the services. That means leveraging just give me a second. Yeah, leveraging the service, leveraging services. That means how to use, okay, how to use services, right? That is what the basic task of leveraging services, how to use those services that you have got into. Firstly, what you are going to do is, in order to get the leveraging services, you are just going to do is, firstly you are going to get the listening to our port. That means we are going to firstly listen to things on our basically on our port. And what does our port means is, we are going to use our IP address of our system, of our just give me a second, yeah, of our system, instead of the victim system, instead of the victim system. And how we are going to get the port to listen, how we can listen to the port, we are going to use the netcat nc nvlp and 1234. That's how you basically run the listening of particular port. You can use any kind of port. I have just taken a random example of 1234. You can use the port number, any port you wanted to listen about, and that's how you can use the netcat and perform the listening to a port. Number one step is this. Then moving on further, what you're going to do is MSF Venom, usage of MSF Venom and MSF console. MSF console. I guess I made a mistake. I got to see. Yeah. MSF Venom. And what is the task of leveraging services, how to perform this leveraging services, guys? What we are going to do, if we somehow got the hold of a particular shell of the admin or something, so ek cheez, one thing is going to be very similar, and one thing is going to be in our hand. That is, we can either restart the system, or we can basically shut down the system. If we have any of this particular privilege while we are into the system, we can do anything, because if we are able to restart the system, we are able to run things on our own. And if we are shutting down the system, then the user who is using that system, just give me a second, yeah, the user who is particularly particularly using that system is going to do what? Is going to start it again, and whatever malicious file we have kept in would be running instead of instead of the main file that the system comprised of earlier. And how we are going to do that as well, let me make it clear to you so that you won't get confused. Firstly, what we are going to do is, just give me a second, let me write it here. Yeah, firstly what we are going to do is, let's say if the system you are into is already having any kind of exe file that is related to very important substance or any confidential information or any confidential system, you can say. Rather it could be webcam, guys. Webcam basically have a .exe file. And if we have a webcams.exe file, what we are going to do is, firstly we are going to delete it, and using using MSF Venom. The task of MSF Venom is basically, just give me a second, let me write it here. The task of okay, yeah, the task of MSF Venom is basically to to create, just give me a second, yeah, to create a to create malicious payloads, malicious payloads, right? The task of it is, MSF Venom is basically to create malicious payloads. Then MSF console, the task of MSF console is to handle those requests that we are getting in order to get the shell back, that we are getting in order to yeah, to get the shell back to us. To get the shell, we going to handle some requests that we are getting from the MSF Venom. MSF Venom is to create a malicious payloads. And here, as I was telling you, that if a webcam is having .exe file, we are just going to delete it, and using MSF Venom we are going to create the payload. What we are going to do is create the payload, and after creating the payload, just give me a second, yeah, payload. After creating the payload, what we are just going to do is, we are just going to replace just okay, it's system got hang, guys, just give me a second. Yeah, as after creating the payload, we are going to replace the system, we are going to replace the .exe file that we have deleted with our malicious .exe file. And if we have some privileges, if we have some privilege, as I mentioned earlier as well, if we have some privileges, what we can do is, we can either restart or shut down the system. And with the help of that, what it is going to do, if the system gets restart, the file that we have implemented or stored will run. And if that is going to run, what it is going to run the malicious command. And that's how we are going to, and that malicious command or that malicious file will connect us through the just give me a second, through the listening port, jahan se, that means from where we are listening to the port, we are going to get connected from that particular system, and then we are able to see that particular, you can say, that webcam, or we can get to know how things are going on using that particular MSF Venom and MSF console. So I guess this is pretty clear, guys, and I have a request: do not use it for a malicious activities. It is just for the educational purpose. Do not use it in a wrong way, and that's going to harm you as well, and as well as me as well. So please do not do that. And for, you can also abuse the binaries and sudos using the GTFO bins, abusing Just give me a second. Abusing the, you can say, binaries, and pseudos. And how you can do is how you can abuse using the GTFO bins. This is a lifesaver website, guys, from where you can just run. Let me show you here. GTFO bins. Yeah, GTFO bins. You can just go and click on this particular GTFO bins, and you can see there are, you can either have a reverse shell to get an interactive reverse shell in order to get the hold of your particular system, and you can perform also the limited SUID library load. You can just use these commands in order to get the hold of your binary system, or you can say to get the shell back to your system. Let's just say you want a shell, you just click on this particular thing and you want it for Ansible test. You can just click on and you can see how to perform that, how to get the Ansible test shell. So this is how you can get the Ansible test shell using these commands. And for the sudo as well, you can use this command and get the and you can abuse the binary as well as the pseudos. You are abusing the sudo here because you are using the sudo Ansible test shell command. So that's how you can use the GTFO bins. And moving on further, this was it for this particular thing. But yes, to take care of one particular thing, there is one thing really important while you are performing manual, just give me a second. Yeah, manual, what do we say, manual previsk over here. You need to take care of two sensitive files in the system. You always need to check those two sensitive files. If they are present, balle balle hai. You can do it anyhow. You have to check etc passwd. What does it etc passwd basically tells you? Info about, it gives you the info about the users. The users the system or that particular system or the network is having. You can get to know if you have that particular, these two sensitive files inside that particular system. And you can also use the etc, you can say shadow. And basically this command is used to get the info about just give me a second, info about the user's password, available user's password, available user user's password. Yeah, that's how you get to know about the just give me a second. Yeah, that's how you get to know about the users. If there is any available user on that particular system, you can have a password. If they have stored it into it, you can get to know. These are the two sensitive files to look for while you are performing manual privilege escalation on Linux. So I hope this topic is pretty clear, guys, and let's just re-revise it for your sake once, and then I'll be ending this video. So firstly, how to get the public exploit. And what is public exploit? Public exploit is basically a publicly available loophole into the system that can be exploited easily. And I have taken an example of a website or a web server, that let's say just a website or a web server is using a Tomcat version 8, but the original but the latest version is 9, and that Tomcat version 8 is having an exploit that is for the RCE, that is remote code execution. And how to locate that public exploit? You can use this nmap, then you can search exploit it, and then you can filter out that particular version that you wanted to check for. And another way of doing is to use www.exploitdb.com. And privilege escalation, moving on further, we have is for the two operating system that we have discussed in this particular video, that is regarding the Windows as well as for the Linux. And for the Windows, you can say manually how to perform. Basically, you are going to get the Windows as the main OS, not the Linux. So be handy with the Windows and the Linux both, so that you can get a hold when you are tackling with any kind of company, or for the pen testing or something like that, or ethical hacking. And then while you can use these commands that I have mentioned, you can take a screenshot if you wanted to, or you can just note it down in your in pen or paper something. And automated privilege escalation, you can use it using the winpiece.exe, and I have already told you how do we get this shell. I have already told you. And then moving on further, we have is Linux privilege escalation. For that also, I have given you commands for the manual. There are two ways to perform manually, that is either using the public exploit, or you can you can do it using the website hacking, that is basically command injection or SSTI. And for automated, linpiece is, you can say, just a brother or sister of WinPiece itself. So that's how you can perform the automated version of Linux privilege escalation and the Windows privilege escalation. How to leverage the services? Firstly, you are going to connect the system in order to get the listening port at your particular system in order your particular IP address. And after that, if you have the restart shutdown, you can basically restart and shut down that particular system in order to get your malicious payload run into that particular system in order to get the hold of it and get the privilege for that particular system. That's how you can use those services using the privilege escalation. And to abuse the binaries and sudos, I have already told you, you can use the GTFO bins website. That is pretty good and in handy. You can use it anyhow. And to perform the manual privilege escalation, you always need to take care of two sensitive files, that is etc passwd and etc shadow. I hope this topic is clear to you guys, and if you like the video, please do not forget to subscribe my channel and hit the like button, as well as share it with your friends and colleagues so that they can enjoy so they can also enjoy the ethical hacking journey, privilege escalation, and another upcoming videos regarding either it could be for the, you can say, bug hunting or pen testing or red teaming. I hope to see you in the next video. So till the time, take care guys, bye bye, see you soon.